How are you doing? Oh my goodness, I am so happy to be here and I hope you are too. Please say hi in the comment section and tell me where are you joining me from. My name is Flora Daisy. I am a digital accessibility expert and founder at Linora Tech. Today, we are going to talk about going from vision to action. We will explore items such as strategic thinking, finance, leadership, and how to create success in accessibility and inclusion. Well, I don't know about you, but I have been working in technology and accessibility for quite some time. Like I would say, probably more than 14 years. And this is what I have noticed to create inclusive and accessible products, environment, or a culture shift. There are few things that needs to be in place. Indeed, you probably will see that companies will hire expert in accessibility, right? There are trainings needed to make sure that employees and leaders are up in the game. There are also a need for vendors to come in and help with projects because there are so many projects to handle. You will also see things like initiatives around communities like ERG, employee resource community, that could be dedicated for accessibility or sometimes for community of people with disabilities. There is like in HR, in like the list can be so long. But do you know what is the thing that link all of those items together? If you do know, put it in the comment section. I will say the thing that links them all together is money. And finance, it's so important when it comes to making sure that your initiatives around inclusion and accessibility in company is successful. And I have today the perfect guest to bring clarity around this topic. Her name is Anna Orenstein-Cardona. She is an amazing trailblazer leader in finance. She has been trading floor in the United States as well as in Europe for more than 2 decades. So please help me welcome Anna by saying hi, Anna, in the comment. It always feels good when she goes back and reads some of the comment. But yes, Anna, hello.
Hi, Flora. Hola, hola to everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I am so excited to have you here. So, for my audience who might not be familiar with you, can you please tell me who you are and also why are you passionate about finance as well as tell me a little bit very briefly about your own business?
Absolutely. And thank you so much. And again, good afternoon from London to everyone. So I am Anna Orenstein-Cardona. I am a certified financial educator, wealth coach, and founder of Wear Your Money Crown, which is a woman-owned financial education and coaching business that is passionately dedicated to bridging the financial inequality gap and transforming lives through education. And Flora, to give you and the audience a little bit more of a background, I just want to share my story, which is I was born and raised on the beautiful island of Puerto Rico in what I call a multicultural, home full of love, but lacking severely in financial resources. So I grew up seeing my parents and my family struggle a lot financially. And it lit a fire in me at the age of 10. And I remember being in summer camp where I said, I am going to buy my parents a home one day. That is my goal and dream because we moved homes a lot because of the lack of financial resources. And so, what was really the fire that fueled me for years was that goal. At the age of 10, I set myself. And so I studied really hard and I attended the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is MIT. And I actually studied I did a Bachelor of Science in Brain and Cognitive Sciences, and the intention was to go to medical school. But it was actually because of financial resources that I decided, wait a minute, I'm going to have to pivot because I'm just going to accumulate more student debt and I want to help my family. I cannot meet my why, my personal goals and financial goals if I take this other career. So I applied to a job on Wall Street and was lucky enough to get it. And I fell in love with the world of trading and of sales. So I started my career in Wall Street with an investment bank there, and then they sent me to London, and I've been working on for various organizations in senior leadership roles on the trading floor, always very much handling investments with some of the world's largest institutional investors. And
Ooh.
yeah, I did that for 21 years, 22, before deciding to launch my business, Wear Your Money Crown, because I knew, how can I take my passion and knowledge and leave a legacy in this world?
Mm.
I felt it was time, in 2020 to reassess my own purpose in life and my own goals. And so that's why I launched my business, because I want to empower individuals, employees, organizations with true financial wellness so they can be who they are meant to be and live a life of purpose.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. And I can feel the passion, you know. And it's so incredible that at age 10, you made such a big decision. It's funny, I will tell you my story later on because I also made a decision at age 10. But for me, it was because we had lost my father, and
Right.
I thought that, I have to step up. So it's quite incredible to see how money shape also our lives as we move forward. One question that I would like, and I want very quickly to let the audience know that from London, I know Anna had mentioned that she had a little bit of trouble with the Wi Fi. I'm so happy that the Wi Fi is not moving or glitching or anything. But just in case if we lose Anna, she is not trying to escape. Trust me, she is not.
It's incredible
But
a city as cosmopolitan as London has severe Wi-Fi accessibility issues.
yes, accessibility. See how important accessibility is? It's everywhere. We can't escape it. One thing I want to know, because I know you had mentioned that before, you said something around strategic thinking to attain goal. Can you just explore a little bit that? And yeah.
Yeah. So for me, when we're talking about effective strategic thinking, I think it really marries the worlds of accessibility, of finance, of leadership quite a lot. And I'm going to explain a little bit about that. But for me, what it's all about is really defining goals and objectives that a leader or institution wants to achieve, right? It's understanding the desired outcomes, the key performance indicators, and setting measurable targets that are in alignment with the vision of an organization, right? With their goals. And I think part of that, that's really important and effective strategic thinking is obviously, you know, gathering information. If we think about the interlink between finances and leadership as well, this applies for both, right? There are transferable skill sets there in strategic thinking, gathering information, understanding and assessing capabilities and resources, right? That allows both individuals and leaders to identify opportunities and potential obstacles. And then, as well, with strategic thinking, with finances, with accessibility, right? We need to really analyze and evaluate both the internal and external factors, right, that may impact the desired goals, and developing the strategies. But more than anything, when you develop those strategies, it's about prioritizing them to
Mhm.
create actionable plans. Again, that's in our finances, that is in leadership, and that is in
And I think that we lost Anna for just a few minutes. Hopefully, she can be back soon. Oopsie. The internet.
organizations.
Oh no, she's
Back, hopefully.
okay. You're back. You're back,
I'm
Anna.
I'm so
No
sorry. Of
problem.
all days, my friend of all days, and to all of you that are watching, thank you for being here and for being patient. of all days and times, it had to be today. But it's a wipeout of the whole Southwest area.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's okay. So you were mentioning something around strategic thinking, how we can attain goal by, laying the ground properly.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that what has happened or what I have seen before in organization, especially when it comes to accessibility, those are big projects. And sometimes leaders don't know what they don't know, right? We create project, we create time frame, we create milestone and all of that, but surprises come along, and sometimes leaders don't know exactly how to manage that. Not just leaders, we also talking about managers, we're talking also about even sometimes developers, because I know developers, innovators usually just do the work, they might not be aware of the budget that move the needles, but sometimes the delay and all of that can create a big impact on the advancement of the project itself. One
Mhm.
thing that you mentioned as well is around understanding finance. Like, we have the strategy right in place, which is fantastic, but finance seems to be a big mystery for some of the people, including myself. So I grew up in Africa, and to be honest with you, the way I started my relationship with money was my parent giving me a little bit of allowance, and I get the money, I will buy whatever I want, and that's about it. So when I grew up getting a job, money was more used for the necessity or entertainment. Like, I needed to pay for some of the bills around me, or I needed to pay for some of the good stuff that I wanted to enjoy. But there were not really much training or understanding of how I
Mhm.
can really leverage finance and money to move to a certain level in life. And I think that you mentioned something, how money can be impactful from the personal aspect to the
Mhm.
leadership aspect in organization. Can you tell me more about it? Because I was like, we need to know.
Yeah, I love that question, Flora, and thank you for sharing your background because that is honestly a very familiar story no matter where you were born and raised, right? Money is not really talked about. And there's many societal reasons why. It's also cultural in some in different cultures. It's also the way people themselves had accessibility and the transgenerational beliefs and actions they picked up from their parents. So again, this is why I'm so passionate about teaching from students to adults and organizations about financial wellness because it really encompasses every stage of our life, right? And I truly believe that, we don't really learn financial literacy at home. We then do not learn it in school, although it's slowly changing with national curriculums. It's taking time, much slower than what we should be at. And then the next aspect is, we're sent at the age of 21 to become responsible adults and to be given credit cards and to be responsible for so many financial decisions that no one has prepared us for. And a lot of the bad or good habits we pick up from all those different stages that I'm sharing with you will impact the way people handle their finances as well as in their jobs, right? And all those transferable skill sets. So for me, when I think of some of the transferable skill sets of being a good steward of money and being a good leader, think about all the things that we have to envision. We have to set those goals, like I was saying before, very strategically. Needs and wants, what you just mentioned about your allowance, what you could afford, what you wanted. The needs and wants, if we can manage that in our personal life as leaders, we can manage the needs and wants of our groups that we lead, of our organization, see how our needs and wants are in alignment with the vision and mission of the institution we work for, right? That is a super skill set that is transferable. If we are able to then objectively, budget, manage our cash flow in our personal finances, those are really strong skill sets that will help you to effectively manage a team as well as the different components, right? The individuals, their needs, their goals, their career aspirations. Because as you know, Flora, as well, in the job that you do, is that we help companies with retention and with productivity, with the different types of efforts we bring. And that is something a good steward of money is naturally building those skill sets that are impactful. And if also you think about communication, whether you are working on your personal budget, in your finances, or in your household budget, managing your partner, your children, right? Those are skill sets in general that are also are very transferable. That communication, learning, okay, what do we really need? What do we need to prioritize? That is really a great talent to have for effective leaders in the workplace.
I definitely agree. As you were talking, I was even thinking about what are some of the impact that, bad management, bad communication in finance can, can like that impact on leaders, not only leaders, but even innovators, right? We're talking about people with development skill. We're talking about designers. We're talking about, everyone, people
Mhm.
with disabilities and people without disabilities. I think that when it comes to money, and you said it beautifully, money is usually a little bit taboo. People don't talk about money. Like, I don't share much about money with my partner, although he's very smart. Like, but effective communication, like you said, can also allow you to see different perspective or explore different ideas that you yourself might not have in the stand that you have. And I know for leaders, you don't want, I mean, for me personally, when it comes to money, one thing that is a little bit of like, I don't like criticism. And I'm pretty sure many people have that feeling. I don't know why we dislike it, but it is what it is. We dislike when people point fingers and say, you're not doing a good job in that area, why don't you do this? And that first feeling kind of make you feel like you don't want to share much about places where you're lacking expertise or knowledge. But
Right.
in fact, exploring that is like everything in life. Like, a baby doesn't come in this world starting running and walking. We take baby steps, we crawl and all of that. So just to say that there is a lot of impact when you are not managing properly the money, or you are not communicating properly or effective things that you want around money. Can you kind of, give me a little bit of your thought in that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I have so many thoughts, but okay, to share some statistics because I like numbers. I'm a number person. But when you look at the number one cause of stress with employees, 72% of employees are financially stressed. How does this impact an organization in performance, engagement, productivity? Right? Take that statistic of 72% and add on top of that that women in general are 33% more likely to have higher financial stress than male counterparts. Okay. There's many reasons about that we can dive into, from the repercussions of the gender pay gap to career advancement and progression to even biological financial obstacles women face from maternity to menopause. So there's a lot of different reasons and aspects of this. But this is the bottom line. When you have financially stressed employees, they are 5 times more likely to take time off due to their personal finances. The link between money and mental health is another important statistic to share. 80% of individuals that have a mental health diagnosis say that their finances make it worse. When that is worse, there is more stress. When there is a lack of clarity, there's an increase of overwhelm, of stress. That is going to impact the workplace, the relationship with people, the engagement in your work, the ability to even be able to focus and be productive when you have other stresses. So for me, when you think about the importance of money and talking about money, again, it's about if you are a senior leader and you're running an organization and you say a lot of these efforts take money, let's talk numbers. Let's look at the bottom line of the improvements that can actually be made by making, workplaces more accessible in terms of well-being, in terms of finances, and in terms of actual projects, right? And so, does that answer the question?
It
Or
does. It does. It does. And I think that I love the fact that you're pointing to some of those specific and also sharing the numbers, because sometimes we feel like, it shouldn't be a big deal. But when we hear the number, it changes the perspective. I know for a fact, like in inclusion and accessibility, for a long time, many companies denied the fact that they needed to have inclusive and accessible product to share and serve minority communities such as people with disabilities. They felt like this is just a small market. There's nothing to be worried about. But in fact, when we share numbers, then that provides clarity. And in the market, such as inclusion and accessibility, there are 1.3 billion people globally who said they have a disability. So this is an untapped market that people should be, serving. And apparently, again, I'm going with just numbers, like we said. With numbers, we know that there is about $13 trillion globally annually that is a disposable income from people with disabilities along with friends and family. Most leaders feel like when they're closing the door to one person with a disability, it's just one person with a disability. But usually they have a family, they have a spouse, they have kids, they have, like, there is a lot more than just that picture. So I love how you kind of pull us back with the numbers in terms of finance. And people, I want to share very quickly. When Anna and I met, we started discussing. We were like, wait a minute, there is so much similarity in what you're doing. You're closing gap in technology and digital product. Why I am closing the gap in finance, just to make sure that people raise, and use efficiently what they already have, or increase the wealth of the organization, and so much more. Now, I want to really, I know that time is flying so fast. Where is the time going? I don't know. But I want to talk very quickly about some of you, like, tools or tips or strategy. I know you mentioned a lot of good things that leaders or innovators can already take in consideration. Like, one of the things that you mentioned was around communication, which I think that is the first key, in terms of even gathering information, as you mentioned, and also in terms of communicating the vision, right? Because proper communication will certainly advance the initiative, the project, a little bit more faster than somebody who is still wobbling. Like, you don't know what you don't know. But yeah, I would like to hear your thought, and if you can just sum up some of the tools, that would be fantastic.
Sure. So I think when we're talking about, let's say, financial wellness specifically, it's about, I'm a huge believer in what I do is meet people where they are at. Understanding, again, the money mindset, the beliefs that they bring into their relationship with money. And as organizations, for instance, if you're looking to help improve the productivity, the retention, the engagement, and consider financial wellness, which is a key aspect, because we just discussed today, money is a center point of so many things in our life, from our needs to our wants, is that we have to understand what is of relevance and importance to individuals, meeting them where they are at, right? So when I look at financial wellness initiatives, it's much more than just planning for retirement. It's building the knowledge for helping to build your resilience so that when life throws financial challenges at you, you don't just survive, you thrive. I'm a huge believer in helping empower with that. And when you thrive and don't just survive, you become naturally more committed, more engaged, and a better leader in the workplace. And that's where that intrinsic link, again, between money and mindset and mental health and leadership comes across. Those are valuable skill sets that we are building. So, in terms of tools and strategies, I would say help to meet employees where they are at, have that effective communication so you understand what are the goals and priorities that will not only bring your initiatives as an organization forward, but the initiatives and goals of your employees, right? You know that joke, happy wife, happy life. I say happy employee, better bottom line. Right. So
Okay.
let's bring that in all aspects. Right. And at the end, there's a little point you raised, and I just want to highlight this as a last point. One of my money mottos in life is the more I have, the more I give. When we help to build leaders that can then empower their teams to also be financially, stronger, have that financial wellness, they not only give back to their families, they give back to their communities and to society. If we want really corporate social responsibility, let's think of empowering the seed, the important part of our organization, which are the employees, with what they need.
Definitely. Oh, I love that last part, especially with the recent events where in technology there have been a lot of companies that had to let go of amazing, incredible talent
Mhm.
because of money, right? And so when we're talking about having a proper management around money, right?
Mhm.
Understanding money wellness, I think that I probably will say may not save everyone, but it may help in the bigger picture, right? Because I've heard many people who were let go, but who also came and say, they said I was good, but unfortunately, I was part of the team that needed to be cut off. And that had all to do with what? Money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's a huge statistic that organizations in the US lose $5 billion a week in productivity because of employee financial stress. Imagine how that reverberates again through the whole thing. They've let your colleague go. Oh my God, am I next? What am I going to do? I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm suffering financially. How am I going to be? So, again, if we have the tools and strategies in place beforehand about knowing how to effectively manage our cash, how to protect ourselves. Because again, as individuals, right, and we are in full time employment, there are strategies we can take into place to protect our income. There's certain types of insurances we can take to also have, from life insurance to health insurance to certain things that we can do as a backup plan in case our work situation changes. And so the same is when you build that skill set in your personal finances, you build that skill set as a leader, you're able to navigate turmoil that we may see, things like the pandemic, right? Things that come left, right, and center, that the disruption right now in technology, there's going to be even more disruption with artificial intelligence, right? How are industries going to navigate that? Because if you don't embrace it, you're going to be left behind, right? But all that is also about investments, about being financially responsible, setting achievements and goals, understanding how to reach the objectives, how to measure your KPIs, everything, right? All this is very similar in terms of managing your finances, managing an organization.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think that this is the key because many of us have not been taught properly. And I think some people are very lucky if they were. I was not part of it. My parent was like, okay, here it is. Navigate through life. But yes, they did step in a couple of times to give guidance and things like that. Only when I open my mouth and I say something. When I'm not opening, they assume that I'm just fine, you know.
Right.
But I think that the key really is seek expertise. Like if you don't know much about money, here's Anna. She's here to help. Like she's here to help. So it's so important because we never know what life can bring to the table. We just navigate, but we can navigate that a bit more comfortable, right? Like we prepare so that when things happen, we don't just panic or we don't just jump on any situation. We can really leverage the blocks that we already put in place to carry us to, comfortably to the next level, so that we know that we just moving steadily, comfortably, until something good happen or whatever. Like a lot
Mhm.
of people also like to pivot, but anyway, that's a different topic that can come for that can call for more time, but we are up with the time, and I am so excited that Anna was here. Anna, look what happened. Internet did not let us down. Just a little bit at the beginning, but we made it through. So, where can people connect with you? And yes,
Thank you. So people can connect with me via LinkedIn. Feel free to DM me, to connect, send me a message. Of course, through my website, which is Wear Your Money Crown. Again, all about financial empowerment, or via email info@wearyourmoneycrown.com. So thank you, Flora, for having me here. I'm an admirer of your work that you do to promote something so important like accessibility. We're both believers and champions for diversity, for equity, for inclusion as well. And so, accessibility and wellness and financial literacy are all part of this. So, thank you for having me.
thank you so much. I will see you all next time. And that was Anna. And my name is Flora Bezi, and I host the Friday show every week. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.